Well, GP Dr Sarah Jarvis is here now. You know, it's whether you take paracetamol, ibuprofen or something every day or something more serious. I mean, the lists are incredible, aren't they?
It is. I mean, if you looked at the list of side effects and you got every one of them, which some people do, you'd never take
Yeah, I never
paracetamol
read them, see. I mean, but how do the pharmaceutical companies come up with these lists, then?
Well, of course, they've got to list all the side effects that are known, because otherwise somebody could
Just in case.
develop it and say, well, I wasn't warned. And quite rightly, they'd be pretty cross. So there's the yellow card scheme, which is where if you develop a side effect after a drug's been launched, then that goes into the MHRA, which is our regulatory authority. But then let's think about what goes on before it gets launched or when it gets launched. So you might think it's quite simple. Just put on the side effects people get. But what about the side effects people imagine? So, for instance, if you put, say, cough is a side effect of cough mixture because people have a cough when they're taking the cough mixture, funnily enough, you'd think it was, you know, it's crazy. So what they need to do is to compare it with placebo. And that's where this idea of nocebo came up. Because, in fact, in some studies, 1 in 4 people had such serious side effects from taking the sugar tablet, the placebo, that they had to stop the trial.
That's incredible. What about... I mean, you were joking about being a hypochondriac.
No, I am.
But
no, he's deadly serious.
Oh, honestly, if there was a documentary about the rarest disease in the world on telly, like shrinking heads, the next day I'd be going to Jane, my head's getting smaller. I'd be making her measure it. I'd be going, my head's getting smaller. So, and don't Google it. Honestly, if I've got a thing, what's that? It's always the worst one. There can be 30 that it probably isn't. Oh, that one, yeah, that's that one, the one you die of. So, yeah, I am a hypochondriac.
So if Ricky was your patient then, I mean, how would you be dealing with this? Because as far as with the side effects, I mean, how do you approach them?
One day I'll be right.
Oh, well, I know, but all the rest of the times you'll be wrong.
OK, good. That's what I want to hear.
So the point I make to patients is all tablets have got side effects. But on a population level, then clearly we're not going to prescribe anything which isn't licensed. And if it's licensed, that means for the population, the benefits greatly outweigh the risks. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case for you. But, for instance, a lot of the side effects people get will be in the short term, whereas the benefits will be longer. And a lot of side effects are temporary. So we'd say antidepressants for severe depression, because clearly they're not very effective for milder depression, but for severe depression, you'll often feel worse before you feel better. But what I'll always say is if you're not severely unwell, or unless you get, say, a rash, which can be a sign of an allergy, then try and stick with it, because the chances are those side effects will wear off.
Also, if I'm warned, I wouldn't care. If she said these are the side effects and I get them, I'd be fine. It's not knowing. I don't care what it... If they say it's this and this and this and everything's going to fall off, but you're not going to die, I don't care about it.
So do you read
It's not
them,
knowing.
Ricky?
Do you know what I mean? What?
Do you go through the list and think, right, these are the options?
No, I'm fun all day, and as soon as I go, what's that? In the mirror, I go, right, that's it. I've got 3 months.
Go and see a pharmacist.
Go and see a pharmacist, yeah, exactly.
Well, this is the point. Go to the pharmacist, because, I mean, they're hugely underused within the
underrated experts. They are the experts in side effects in all medications. So unless you're really
You can't do a
seriously
prostate
unwell...
exam, though, in boots, can you?
You do a lot, though, can't you?
Last time I looked, your prostate wasn't a medicine. I'm never going to be able to get that out of my mind.
Shall we leave it there, Sarah? We can leave it there if you want to. OK. Next. Ting!